Welcome to Tab Briefs, a weekly look at headlines from the world of faith for June 5th, 2020. I'm Tab Media Content Editor Carrie McWhorter, and here are some of the headlines that grabbed our attention this week. Baptists respond to the death of George Floyd. Chinese Christians experience an uptick in persecution, and Christian artist Amy Grant undergoes open heart surgery. First up, in response to the May 25th death of 46-year-old George Floyd in police custody, protests across the U.S. have been at times peaceful, at times violent, and at all times leaving Americans to ponder the future of racial tensions and the possibility of racial reconciliation in our country. George Floyd's brother Terence Floyd spoke on Monday in Minneapolis near the scene of his brother's death and called on protesters to channel their anger into activism. Terence Floyd was responding to protests across the country that turned violent, including one in Birmingham on May 31st that turned destructive in the early morning hours of June 1st. Terence Floyd said peaceful demonstrations and voting are positive ways to respond to his brother's death instead of vandalizing and tearing down their communities. And across the country, religious leaders added their voices to the call to end racial inequity in the distribution of justice in the United States. Southern Baptist leaders published a statement on May 30th, co-authored by SBC President J.D. Greer and New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary President Jamie Dew. The SBC statement was signed by all SBC officers, entity heads, and state convention executive directors. The statement reads, in part, as a matter of Christian obedience and devotion, followers of Jesus Christ cannot remain silent when our brothers and sisters, friends, and or people we seek to win for Christ are mistreated, abused, or killed unnecessarily. Therefore, we pray for our local, state, and national leaders as they seek justice and call on them to act quickly and diligently to ensure that these situations are brought to an end. A link to this full statement is in today's show notes. Other prominent religious leaders have lent their voice to the call for justice as well. Tony Evans, author and pastor of Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship in Dallas, Texas, called the situation a cultural and spiritual pandemic. In a video message posted June 2nd, Evans said seeing video of Floyd's death had ripped at his heart, and Evans noted that life after life over the years has been unjustly and unrighteously taken. Evans said our society needs a reset, and this is the time to do it, when it has everyone's attention at the very same time. Evans encouraged people to work toward change by serving alongside others of different races and acting in right ways in the church and in society. In case you're interested in watching, we've posted a link to the full video of Tony Evans' message in today's show notes. Turning to news from China, Chinese Christians are seeing an uptick in government persecution as the country lifts its coronavirus-related restrictions. In April, at least 48 three-self churches were shut down by the local government in Yunnan County, according to Bitter Winter, a magazine on religious rights and human rights in China. One congregant of a three-self church told Bitter Winter that in April, officials of Xijing Town, under the direction of the mayor, raided the church and removed its podium, its cross, and all other religious symbols. One of the local believers noted that the village press secretary said that, quote, there were too many believers in the county, end quote. The believer quoted the secretary as saying, when so many believe in God, who will listen to the Communist Party? There is no other choice but to remove crosses from your churches. In addition to church closures, the government ordered that religious symbols be purged from the homes of believers as well. A representative for International Christian Concern said the organization is hearing multiple reports of church demolitions and cross removals, as well as disruption of house church gatherings across China. China ranks at number 23 on Christian watchdog group Open Doors' 2020 World Watch List of countries where it is hardest to be a Christian. And finally, Christian music artist Amy Grant underwent open-heart surgery on Wednesday to correct a rare condition her doctor discovered earlier this year. The 59-year-old singer has had the condition, called PAPVR, since birth, but has said she was asymptomatic. Friends of Amy Grant said the surgery could not have gone better, and they have asked for prayer for her continued recovery. Grant joined her husband Vince Gill and their daughters Jenny and Corinna on a live broadcast of the Grand Ole Opry on March 28th, playing to an empty Opry house and concluding the evening with the gospel standard, How Great Thou Art, and then the song, You Are My Sunshine. If you're interested, we do have a link to that video in the show notes as well. And those are your Tab Briefs for June 5th, 2020. To read more about these and other stories from the world of faith-based news, go to tabonline.org. And while you're there, check out all of our podcasts, Tab Talks, Tab News, Tab Briefs, and coming soon, Tab Stories. Thanks for watching, and join us again next Friday.